How rich is Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake? The subject of today's video is a popular personality of recent times, dubbed a Trump in heels. This phenomenal personality has grabbed recognition as possibly the future of the Republican Party. She's none other than Arizona's gubernatorial candidate from the Republican Party for the 2022 election, Kari Lake. From her rather shocking entrance into politics, the surprisingly large crowds of supporters, to her ascent in fame and financial assets. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into the financial and political life of Kari Lake. Stick around to find out what dictates her net worth, including the millions she amassed from her years as a television journalist to now, a politician at the forefront contesting for the position of governor in the state of Arizona. Kari Lake's candidacy for the gubernatorial elections came out as a sudden shock to most, even to her own co-workers who had known her for a while. Lake's poise and outspoken nature, thanks to her years of service as a television anchor, might have been definitive of the crowds of people she's been able to draw to her campaign gatherings. But to shed some light on her journey to financial success and fame, let's begin by familiarizing ourselves with her early years and upbringing. Kari Lake, the youngest of 9 children, was born to a well-established family in Rock Island, Illinois in 1969 to Larry Lake and Sheila Lake. Her childhood was predominantly spent in Iowa with her father, who was a high school teacher and football coach, and her mother, who was a nurse in Wisconsin. Growing up disconnected and far from the political class, Kari Lake's recognition as a popular politician today is something that we thought required emphasis. At 7 years old, Lake's parents underwent divorce and consequently had a custody battle, the result of which played a main role in defining her personality, according to her. Her father won custody over Kari, possibly due to his more stable job situation. While Kari speaks of her mom as an amazing human, she's been vocal about the fact that she's thankful that her father won the legal battle, since according to her, a strong father figure becomes almost more important to a girl as she grows into adulthood. Kari believes that her father was instrumental in defining her values and overall personality. Larry Lake would often bring his daughter to his coaching sessions and had her study in the same school he was working at. During her college years at the University of Iowa, Lake's initial passion was to become a primary school teacher. However, her interest seemed to fade away, with her ending up working multiple other part-time jobs to pay up her tuition, including a job at a pizza joint, a computer store, and also as a janitor at a drug treatment center. After her sophomore year, Lake took 2 years off school, working as a radio sales agent at first and subsequently as a receptionist while living with her sister in Minneapolis. Looking back at how Kari Lake developed her interest in journalism, she remarks that once while watching the news, she thought to herself, "This looks like a great job. You're in the middle of everything," when she became transfixed by the local news, which her brother-in-law had a habit of listening to every day. A year later, building on her newfound interest in journalism, Lake returned to Iowa and followed a communications major to get into broadcasting. Upon graduating in 1992, Kari Lake worked as a production assistant at KWQC in Davenport, Iowa, and then joined another station in Rock Island to serve for 2 more years. Subsequently, Kari Lake had been hired as a weekend weather anchor by NBC's Channel 12 in Phoenix, a leap into her intended course of action. Having worked 4 years at NBC, Lake left for a year stint in Albany, New York before returning to Phoenix as Fox 10's evening anchor. This is the position she'd hold unshaken for 22 years long and even through the pandemic. Lake and her co-host went on to become a staple for families across the states and were telecasted for the 5 and 9 p.m. newscasts. Her role as news anchor for the evening slot made her a TV fixture in homes for nearly a quarter of a century, gaining her the ability to captivate an audience and paving the way for a remarkable political ascent. Even before stepping into politics, she was already in the limelight thanks to the exposure she received on Phoenix TV. From the looks of things, Kari Lake seemed to lead a rather middle-class lifestyle along with her husband, a photojournalist with a small business that specializes in film, TV, and video production called Zen Video. Kari Lake's net worth is estimated to be between $1 million and $3 million as of 2022, with her main source of income being her role as a TV news anchor for Fox 10, A large part of her net worth was made up of the wealth she amassed from her time as a news reporter, journalist, and news anchor on KSAZ-TV. According to multiple reports online, Lake's average monthly salary as a news anchor was estimated to be between $50,000 and $75,000 per month at the time she made the surprising decision to enter the political world. In March 2021, Lake left her journalism career of more than 22 years to start her political career. Subsequently, much to everyone's surprise, she announced that she was going to run for governor of Arizona 2 months later in June 2021. In July 2021, as Trump announced the names of the candidates off a teleprompter, he was taken aback by the massive support she received from the audience. A shocked Trump is then seen questioning who Kari Lake is, visibly trying to identify her from the crowd. From then to now, much has changed, and Donald Trump has become an ardent supporter of Kari Lake even after she just lost her race for governor. Some supporters of the politician call her a Trump in heels for reasons that we'd like you to speculate on. Despite her extensive exposure to the public in recent times, she's kept her private life away from the public eye as she lives a rather conservative life. Much isn't known about her material assets. Ever since she entered into the political arena, Lake has been very vocal about her disdain towards mainstream media, as is obvious by what she said. In the past few years, I haven't felt proud to be a member of the media and no longer want to do this job anymore. Just like Trump, she's attacked mainstream media despite having worked in the industry for almost a quarter of a century. Raise your hand if you're with the fake news, she would say before criticizing how the media portrays truth. During the campaigns before the election, she also said she plans to be the media's worst frickin' nightmare if she's elected. While Kari Lake is often spoken of as someone who likes a little bit of drama, the politician herself believes that she loves truth, and in her own words, not everyone is dedicated to telling the truth, but thankfully, many of you have figured that out. I promise you, if you hear it from my lips, it will be truthful. Kari Lake. The questions we'd like to raise are, what is it about the media and news that Kari Lake dislikes? Why did it take her almost half of her life to figure out that she isn't a believer of what she's been working for and representing? If her accusations involve falsehood in part of the mainstream media, wouldn't that falsify her painted persona of the truthful politician having worked in the industry for 22 plus years? According to the results of the polls that are already out, Kari Lake has lost the race for governor according to many. However, it isn't an emphatic victory for the Democrat Katie Hobbs either, as she managed to lead only by a fraction of a percent of the votes. Kari Lake has also made it a point not to concede, which most other gubernatorial candidates have already done in other states. Her reluctance to accept her defeat in the elections has caused a high-stakes tug-of-war within the Republican Party, with some Republicans, including Donald Trump, supporting her idea to legally challenge the results of the poll, whereas others are advising her to concede and move on with the defeat. However, at the time of publishing this video, Lake is yet to announce her next move. All she's ever mentioned is that the results of the elections have been tainted. Regardless of whether she won the election or not, her growing profile and crowds suggest she'll remain a force within the Republican Party, with some even speculating that she could be the future of the party. Kari Lake, being an excellent communicator, paints her entry into politics as the last chance to save America from the rut it's been falling into. She says, "I walked away from my paycheck. What good is all that if you don't have a country to enjoy it in, if our babies aren't free?" Will Kari Lake prove to be a truthful politician as she claims to be? Will she lead America in the right direction if she's given the power to? Only time will tell. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.